What are the next steps for the neurotypical partner to achieve emotional intimacy? In this video, I want to talk about how to stop disappearing without triggering shutdown or being labeled manipulative by your ASD spouse. So if you're the non-autistic partner in a neurodiverse marriage, there's a good chance you've learned how to disappear. Not physically, but emotionally. In other words, you stop bringing things up, you stop asking for closeness, you stop naming hurt. Not because you don't need intimacy, but because every attempt seems to lead to shutdown, defensiveness, logic debates, or being told you're too emotional or manipulative. And over time, something painful happens. You survive the marriage, but you slowly leave yourself. So today we're going to talk about the next steps, not dramatic ultimatums, not abandoning your ASD spouse, and not forcing emotional reciprocity. We're going to talk about how the NT partner can reclaim her emotional voice in a way that reduces shutdown, respects neurodivergent processing, and still honors your emotional reality. And I'll give you 5 concrete communication scripts paired with the most likely logical response from your ASD spouse so you can stop misreading neutrality as a rejection. Now let's look at a core reframe. Emotional intimacy is not emotional matching. This first shift is critical. Emotional intimacy in a neurodiverse relationship does not come from emotional symmetry. It comes from clarity, predictability, and reduced emotional ambiguity. Many NT partners keep trying to feel connected by increasing emotional expression. Well, that's going to backfire. Why? Because for the autistic spouse, intense emotion reads as pressure. Emotional language feels unspecified, and vulnerability can feel like an unsolvable problem. So the goal is not, how do I get my autistic spouse to respond emotionally? No, the goal is, how do I speak emotionally without disappearing or escalating? Now let's talk about the real work, which is stopping self-sacrifice. Here's the truth that most NT partners don't hear. You are not struggling because you're too emotional. You're struggling because you've been doing emotional labor invisibly for years, softening your needs, translating your pain, waiting for the right moment, managing your autistic spouse's nervous system at the cost of your own. Healing begins when you stop disappearing internally, even if the relationship remains externally intact. That requires new language, so let's get specific about that. Script number 1. Naming need without accusation. This might have been your old pattern. You never care how I feel. That's going to trigger defensiveness or shutdown or meltdown. Your new script could be, I'm noticing I've been holding a lot inside to keep things calm. That's not sustainable for me. I need to start sharing emotional needs more directly and briefly. Now, why would that work? Because there's no blame, no demand, and it states self-change, not spouse change. Now, here's the likely ASD response. Okay, what emotional needs specifically? That's not coldness, it's a request for clarity. So as the NT wife, here's your next step. Have one concrete example ready. Do not expand, do not justify. Script number 2. Ask for clarification without pressure. Your old pattern might have been, I just want you to want me emotionally. Okay, well your new script could be, emotional connection helps me to feel stable in the relationship. I'm not asking for emotional intensity, just occasional acknowledgement. Now here's how your ASD spouse is likely to respond. Okay, I acknowledge the relationship exists and is stable. That line often lands as devastating to the NT partner. But here's the reframe. Your ASD spouse answered literally, not relationally. So here can be your follow-up. Okay, well, thank you. But for me, acknowledgement sounds like one sentence about what you notice I'm dealing with. There, you're defining the target, not chasing the feeling. Script 3. We're going to talk about setting a boundary around dismissal. This is where many NT partners are afraid they'll be accused of manipulation. Your old pattern may have been, you're invalidating me. Your new script could be, when my feelings are explained away or corrected, I tend to shut down. I'm not asking for agreement, just non-correction. Now your ASD spouse's likely response could be, I correct things that are not accurate. And here's your calm clarifier to that response. Okay, I understand. Emotional experiences don't need accuracy, they need acknowledgement. Then stop talking. Silence here is powerful. Script 4. We're going to talk about reclaiming your voice without over-explaining. Many NT partners over-explain because they're trying to prevent misunderstanding. Ironically, this creates more misunderstanding and the subsequent shutdown and meltdown. Your new script could be, I'm going to say this simply, even if it feels incomplete. I felt lonely this week, and I just wanted you to know that. Now, your ASD spouse's likely response could be, well, what caused it? Now, from his vantage point, this is not curiosity about you. It's an attempt to solve. And your boundary script could be, okay, well, I'm not asking to solve it right now. I just need it acknowledged. You're teaching your ASD spouse when logic is needed and when presence is enough. Script number 5, requesting structure for emotional check-ins. Unstructured emotional conversations often overwhelm autistic partners. And you as the NT wife have been living it. If you're going to fly by the seat of your pants with this emotional conversation, you're going to get a shutdown, meltdown, false agreement, or just an adult temper tantrum. Here could be your script instead. I'd like a 10-minute weekly check-in, where I share one emotional thing and you reflect one sentence back. No fixing required. Now here could be a likely ASD response. Well, what if I say it wrong? This is actually good news. Your response as the NT wife could be, trying is enough. Accuracy isn't required. This lowers performance anxiety and increases participation in your ASD spouse. Now let's talk about what healing actually looks like. Let me be very honest here. Healing does not look like sudden empathy, emotional mirroring, or heartfelt conversations. No, healing looks like fewer shutdowns, shorter recovery periods, clearer expectations, and you no longer disappear to keep the peace. The NT partner's growth is not about becoming colder, it's about becoming clearer. So if you're a neurotypical spouse listening to this and thinking, well, I've been disappearing for years now, I want you to hear this. Reclaiming your emotional voice is not abandonment, it's self-respect. And intimacy, real intimacy, can only exist where both people are still present. Now, if this resonated, I encourage you to pause, write down one script, and try it this week without over-explaining. That's where change begins. Please like, subscribe, comment. I read and respond to all comments. I'll see you in the next video. Would you like to schedule a paid private coaching session? This will be in the form of a face-to-face Zoom call. Underneath any of my videos, you'll see this Calendly link. If you click on that link, it'll open up my calendar. You can pick the available days and times that works for your schedule. You'll get a follow-up email immediately after purchasing a session that will have the Zoom link that coincides with the day and time that you picked. I will get an email too that you scheduled a session, and I will be available on that exact day and time, and we will talk. I look forward to working with you.